So you're an international student in Canada. You've probably heard about the PGWP, right? The post-graduation work permit. It's pretty much the key to turning your Canadian education into a real career here. But, and this is a big but, the rules of the game have just changed, and they've changed a lot. In this explainer, we are going to break down exactly what these new rules mean for you. For years, that's exactly what the PGWP has been. It was this super reliable bridge, taking you right from your graduation day to getting that all-important Canadian work experience, which, is the main path to permanent residence. Well, that bridge just got a whole lot narrower, with brand new rules and some serious new tolls to pay. Here's the game plan. First, we'll quickly touch on why this permit is such a big deal. Then, we get to the most critical part, the Great Divide, which will tell you exactly which set of rules you need to follow. After that, we'll dive deep into those new rules, point out the common mistakes that sink any application, and wrap it all up with a step-by-step checklist to get you through it. Okay, let's start at the beginning. Before we get into all the new, kind of complicated stuff, why does everyone want this permit so badly in the first place? What makes it so powerful? Well, at its heart, it's an open work permit. And that's huge. It means you don't need a job offer lined up just to apply. The only catch is it's exclusively for students who've graduated from a specific list of government-approved schools, what they call Designated Learning Institutions, or DLIs. And the benefits are just incredible. That open status, it gives you the freedom to work for pretty much any employer, anywhere in Canada. That work experience is your golden ticket for PR through programs like Express Entry. But here's the thing you absolutely have to remember. It is a once-in-a-lifetime shot. You only get one PGWP ever. And that brings us to today's reality. Honestly, the golden era of the PGWP, it's over. The days where it was almost an automatic approval for any graduate, those are gone. The government has put some really strict new requirements in place, and if you don't know them, you could put your entire Canadian journey at risk. So, how in the world do you figure out which set of rules you need to follow? Well, it all boils down to one single, super important date. Okay, pay very close attention to this. The magic date is November 1st, 2024. This isn't about when you started your classes or when you graduate. It is all about the date you applied for your study permit. If you hit submit before that date, congrats, you're in the grandfathered group under the old easier system. If you applied on or after that date, welcome to the new rules group. This is the first and honestly the most important question you have to answer. Now, if you're lucky enough to be in that grandfathered group, you can breathe a huge sigh of relief. You don't have to worry about the new restrictions on what you can study. That general business diploma, still totally fine. And you probably won't need to hand over any language test results. Your path is just a lot simpler. Okay, now let's talk to everyone in the new rules group. If your study permit application went in on or after November 1st, 2024, this next bit is absolutely essential. So even within the new rules, there's another split. Are you a university grad or a college grad? If you're finishing a university degree, like a bachelor's, a master's, or PhD, good news. You are still exempt from those field of study rules. You can major in ancient history and still be eligible. But for college students, getting a diploma or certificate, things are now much, much tighter. Your program absolutely must be connected to a known labor shortage in Canada. So what counts as high demand? Well, you can see the list here. We're talking about very specific fields: healthcare, STEM, the skilled trades like plumbing or welding, agriculture, and transportation. If you're a college student under these new rules and your program isn't in one of these buckets, you might have a problem. That general business administration diploma, for instance, probably isn't going to cut it anymore. And the second huge change for the new rules group is all about language. It used to be assumed that if you studied in Canada, your English or French was good enough. Not anymore. Now you have to prove it with an official test. This is not optional. If you're graduating from university, the number you need to remember is 7, a Canadian language benchmark, or CLV, of 7. This basically means you've got to show you have a solid intermediate to advanced grasp of English or French across all 4 skills: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Now, for the college grads in those specific high-demand fields, the bar is set a little lower, at a CLB 5. This is more of a basic intermediate level. But don't be fooled, it's still a formal requirement you have to prove with a test like IELTS or CELPIP. Okay, let's bring everyone back together. It doesn't matter if you're grandfathered in or under the new rules, this next part applies to absolutely everyone. These are the simple, common mistakes that will get your PGWP application refused, no matter how good your grades are. So, what is the number one reason that a perfectly good student gets that dreaded refusal letter? It's usually not because they missed a form or a deadline. Nope. It's often a mistake they made months or sometimes even years before they even applied. Here they are, the top 3 application killers. Number 1, the part-time gap. You have to be a full-time student every single semester except for your very last one. If you drop to part-time without authorization, even for one term, it's an automatic refusal. Next, unauthorized work. Working more hours than you're allowed to as a student. Trust me, they check. And finally, the status gap. You cannot let your study permit expire before you apply for your work permit, not even for a single day. All right, we've gone through the rules, we've gone through the risks. Now let's switch gears and talk about solutions. This is your practical, hands-on guide to getting your application approved. First things first, let's talk numbers. You need to budget for the government fees. And it's not just one fee, it's 2. The work permit processing fee and the open permit holder fee, bringing your total to $255 Canadian dollars. And then you have to be ready to wait. Processing can take anywhere from 80 to 140 days, so patience is absolutely key here. Here is your 5-step plan for success. Step 1, you have to wait for your official final grades and your letter of completion from your school. Don't jump the gun. Step 2, if you're in that new rules group, book your language test and get it done. Step 3, watch that clock. You have exactly 180 days from the day your school issues your final marks to apply. Step 4, get everything together and submit your application through the online portal. And finally, Step 5, you really should stay in Canada while you wait for that decision. And here is a pro tip that could save you from a massive headache. Your work permit cannot be issued for a day longer than your passport is valid. So let's say you did a 3-year program and you're eligible for a 3-year permit, but your passport expires in 1 year. Guess what? You're only getting a 1-year work permit. If your passport is expiring soon, renew it before you apply for your PGWP. So let's just wrap our heads around this. After all those years of tuition, late-night study sessions, and stressful exams, your entire future in Canada could hinge on one tiny detail you might have overlooked. Something as simple as an unauthorized part-time semester, or for new students, choosing the wrong college program can just slam the door shut. Look, the rules have definitely changed. The path forward is way more complex than it used to be. That bridge to your future in Canada, it's narrower, and the rules to get across are a whole lot stricter. So the only question left to ask is, are you ready to make that crossing?